The glass prison. James Larkson awoke with a start. Gasping for air as panic gripped his chest. He blinked, trying to get his bearings, but everything around him felt strange. His hands touched a cold, smooth surface in front of him, and that's when he saw it glass. Thick, clear, and unbreakable. He was trapped inside a glass box. His mind raced as he scanned his surroundings. Outside the box, the world moved on. Cars sped by on the street. People walked past him, chatting, laughing, completely unaware of the man imprisoned in their midst. He banged his fist against the glass. "Hey, can anyone hear me? Help!" His voice echoed inside the tight, transparent chamber, but no one outside seemed to notice. His heart pounded louder. He banged again, harder this time, but the result was the same. The glass didn't so much as vibrate. It felt as though he didn't exist, as if the glass acted like a barrier between him and the real world. The first wave of dread hit him, cold and unforgiving. Where was he? How did he get here? The last thing he remembered was leaving work late, exhausted after another 12-hour day. But now, he was here, in a glass prison, with no clue how or why. The panic deepened when he realized there was nothing inside the box with him. No door, no vents, no way out, just him in the glass. His breath fogged up the surface as he pressed his forehead against it, watching people go about their lives, oblivious to his silent screams. Then, something strange happened. A message began to form on the glass. Words etched themselves onto the surface, like invisible ink becoming visible. "You're not alone, James." He recoiled, his eyes widening. The message wasn't from outside. It was written from within the glass. He stepped back, his mind racing. Was someone watching him? Were they toying with him? "Who are you?" he asked aloud, though he wasn't sure if anyone could hear him. No response came. The words remained, taunting him with their eerie familiarity. How did they know his name? James's pulse quickened, and he pressed his hands to the glass again, searching for any sign of life outside, any hint that someone was watching him. But there was nothing. Hours passed. The sky darkened as the city's lights flickered to life, casting long shadows across the streets. James sat huddled in the corner of his glass box, his head in his hands, exhaustion overtaking the panic. His mind replayed every possible explanation, every memory, but nothing made sense. Then, the glass vibrated again. More words appeared. Slowly at first, and then with speed. "Look behind you." His heart leapt into his throat. He turned slowly, fear creeping up his spine. At first, there was nothing there, just the same cold, empty glass wall. But as he focused, he saw the faint outline of a figure. It was as if the glass had captured a reflection that wasn't his. The figure was tall, dressed in a dark, hooded cloak. The face was hidden in shadow, but James could feel the weight of its gaze on him. He scrambled backward, his back pressing against the opposite wall, as far away as he could get. "Who are you?" he yelled, his voice cracking. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. It just stood there, watching, waiting. James's mind raced. Was this some kind of hallucination? A nightmare? He had to be dreaming. None of this could be real. He pinched his arm hard, hoping to wake up, but the pain only confirmed his worst fear this was real. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure was gone. The glass was once again clear, leaving James staring at his own reflection, pale and terrified. He stayed awake the rest of the night, too afraid to close his eyes. He didn't know how long he could last like this, trapped, watched, with no way out. By the time dawn broke, his mind was frayed. The city outside came to life again, and still, no one saw him. No one cared. His throat was raw from screaming, his knuckles bruised from banging on the glass. But it was all futile. That's when the glass vibrated again, and a new message appeared. "Do you remember what you did?" James froze, his breath catching in his throat. His mind reeled, searching for meaning in the question. What had he done? Was this a punishment? Had he wronged someone? But no matter how hard he thought, nothing came to mind. More words appeared, this time faster, more insistent. "Think. You can't hide from the truth forever. Look inside yourself. James, why are you here?" He stood frozen, staring at the words, feeling the cold chill of realization creeping up his spine. Maybe the question wasn't about something obvious. Maybe it was deeper, more hidden. He racked his brain, trying to push through the fog of confusion and fear. And then, slowly, bits of memory began to surface. Flashes of a late night, a car ride, a figure on the road. He remembered the screech of tires, the dull thud, the panic that followed, the way he had driven away, leaving behind more than just skid marks on the pavement. James sank to his knees, the weight of his actions crashing down on him. He had buried the memory deep, convinced himself it was a nightmare, a mistake, but now, it all came flooding back. He was here because of what he'd done, The glass prison wasn't just a physical trap, it was a reflection of the prison inside his own mind, the guilt that had festered and grown, and noticed, until now. The final message etched itself onto the glass, sealing his fate. You cannot escape the past. This is your sentence. And just like that, the world outside the glass began to blur, fade, until there was nothing left but darkness. James Larkson was alone, forever,